it is a extremely emotionally charged issue in the United States today. And emotionally charged issues tend to lead people to make broad statements, to oversimplify and think that there's simplistic solutions. As with the problem of unplanned pregnancy, it's a very complex problem, and it's difficult, I think, to come up with soundbite answers that really address the issue in an effective way. What I think about immigration is, I think it, for a whole lot of reasons, we need to get control of our borders. We live in a dangerous world. We can't have people sneaking across the border in the middle of the night and nobody knowing, for national security reasons, to control our population. So that's an issue that I think most of us can agree on, is we've got to beef up our border security. And I don't want to do it by building a Berlin Wall around the Mexican or the Canadian border, but I do think we should use the high tech available and provide the manpower and the intelligence that we can effectively control our border. Secondly, I learned this from I was telling Kathleen before. Is Kathleen still here? There she is. That, thanks MB. I was involved in helping start the federal drug program years ago when I worked in the White House. And the thing I learned from that is that where there is a where there is a market, whether it be for drugs or for labor, somehow the supply, that demand will be satisfied. So we have to deal with the job side of the issue that is creating the market pull that is inducing people from not just Mexico but from all over the world to try to improve their state of life by coming to the United States. So I think the second thing we have to do in immigration is force employers to hire only to hire legally. And it's easy to do. My company in the nursery business hired a fair number of people for landscaping business that were temporary workers. You have them apply for a job, give you a Social Security number, you don't hire them until the next day, you send the Social Security number to the Department of Labor, and if there's a match, in our case if they pass the drug test, they're hired. If not, they're not hired. But we have to ensure that the employers in the United States hire only legally, either U.S. citizens or legal immigrants. If we did that, we would substantially eliminate the incentive that causes so many people to want to immigrate illegally. So I think that's something that's fairly easy and is sensible policy, even though it's not talked about as much as it should be. A third thing is we do have jobs in the United States, at least when the economy is growing, that business can't find people to fill. Agriculture and hospitality industries are two industries that depend heavily on foreign nationals, and I see nothing wrong at all in expanding temporary worker programs, legal immigration, to fill those jobs as needed and at wages and in terms of working conditions that are fair and appropriate. So that's another way. The hard part of the issue is what do you do with the illegal immigrants who are currently here, and that's where the consensus breaks down and it gets very emotional. My own view is it does make sense. It doesn't make sense to try to round up, arrest, and deport 12 to 20 million people. There aren't enough police officers, there aren't enough jails. It is impossible to do that. It would make sense to give them an incentive to emerge from the shadows start paying taxes, start getting insurance, pay a penalty because they have violated the law, and put them in the back of the line for legal immigration. And I think some policy, some combination of that solution is what a responsible solution to the immigration issue, legal and illegal, is for this country. And I hope to be part of a Congress that in a less emotional environment addresses the issue and comes up with some sort of a sensible compromise that includes those components.